welcome back to Just Code It. Today we're going to be taking a look at Plotly pie charts. Like always, we're going to just do our imports and then create some random data. We're just going to create some data to make pie plots from. We're going to do companies, Apple, Samsung, Google, Huawei, and other. And then we're going to generate some market share data, some revenue data, and some growth data, and then add it to a data frame. Let's run this. And that is our data frame right there. After we have all of our random data generated, we're going to create our first pie plot. To do this, we're going to do pxpie, pass it the data frame. And then for the values, we're going to pass it the market share, which is our variable within our data frame. Names are going to be the company, and then title, whatever you want. And we're going to actually just have a hover be growth only, revenue only. And then we're going to use px colors, quantitative, and then pass it this set, which is just a set of colors that is going to be used to color each different individual company. Instead of defining them all, they're just a color set that we can use. After creating the figure, we're going to do figure.update traces, which is going to help customize the appearance. The first thing we're going to customize is text position, and we're going to put the text position as inside, so inside the circle. And then text info will be percent plus label. So it's going to say the company name and the percent or percent market share. The last customization we're going to do is a layout customization using the update layout. The first thing is going to be text or title x-axis. We're going to put it in the middle using the 0.5. Give it a font size of 20. We're not going to show a legend because we're going to put the names inside of the circles, and then just the width and height. Finally, we show the plot. Here's the plot after you run it. As you can see, we got the names and the percentages within the circle. And then a hover, we have the market share. We also added the revenue to that plot too. The next pie plot we have is a donut pie plot where we're going to do a lot more customization to it. But to start, we're going to create another figure. This time, the figure is going to just use the Go, not the PX. We're going to use Go. This is a little bit lower level. Plotly Express uses Go under the hood. So for this plot, we're just going to go one step lower and just use Go right away. This allows us to do a bit more customization. After defining the figure, we're then going to create our first trace. This trace is going to be off of the figure. So you're going to do figure.addTrace, and you're going to define that trace is going to be a Go pie plot. So go.pie. And then you define our pie plot like we did up in the previous example, where we're going to have labels is going to be the data frame and then the company. You can see up here, we just passed it the column name, but down here, we're actually interacting. We're passing it just the exact data it needs. That's one of the changes that you'll have to get used to, but it's honestly more similar to how you plot in most other things. The Plotly Express kind of just has a wrapper around it where you just pass it the column name and you don't have to actually deal with the datum frame. But after creating the label, we're then going to create the values, which are going to be that market share. So data frame, and then grab just the market share column. The whole is going to be a 60% whole. So we're going to have a pretty large hole in our donut, not a lot of donut to eat. And then our text info is going to be the same as before, just the label and the percent plot. The one tricky thing here is the text position is actually going to be outside because there is a hole in the middle of our pie plot and we want it to go in the center. After the text position, we then are going to create that pool where we're emphasizing market shares that are above 30%. To do this, we're iterating over the market shares, and if they're greater than 30%, we're going to add some spacing between the pie plot segments to emphasize them. After creating the pool, we're then going to create the markers where we're going to use a color set again. This time we're just going to use a bold color set. Then for the lines, we're going to make them bold, but have the lines being black. After creating the trace, we're going to now customize the layout of the plot. To do this, we're going to do figure.update layout like before. And now we're going to start adding some styling to it where we're going to have a title and we're going to add marketing distribution. And then this right here, BR, is page break or a new line. Then have that kind of subheader below it. We're going to define the title as in the middle and pretty close to the top at 95, width and height. After defining the width and height, we're then going to add those annotations. This is where we want to put it inside the circle. To do this, we're going to do annotations equals a list of a dictionary, and that dictionary is going to be made up of a dict with a text equal to the text that we want in the middle. So here we're defining 2024 page break or next line, marketing, next line, share. It's going to be in the middle of X and the middle of Y. Font size of 20. Finally, we're not going to display any arrows. After creating and positioning the annotations, we're now going to position the legend. To do this, we're going to first grab the, say we're going to show the legend. So show legend equals to true. And then we're going to say legend equals a dictionary with orientation horizontal, Y anchor. So on the Y axis, anchored at the bottom. We anchor it at the bottom so that we know for a fact that if we put it at 1.02, the legend will always be above the plot. From there, we then set it at 1.02. The legend will be right above the plot as a horizontal line, and the X anchor is going to be 1. The X anchor will be to the right, so we're going to anchor our text on the right and set the X to all the way on the other side. So essentially, we're just going to have it span the entire plot. Finally, we're just going to show it. Now, this is actually a pretty good plot. You did a lot of new things here with pulling stuff out and doing a little calculation inside of a trace. And we're starting to work on our formatting and making our plots look a little bit nicer. That is it for PyPlots. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you next time.